When performing ripple and roll edits, you're manipulating the transition points in various ways. Now we're going to be talking about slip and slide edits, two more types of trimming, which allow us to manipulate the content and the position of our shots within the sequence. So let's take a look at how. I again have some markers towards the beginning of my sequence where I want to take a look at some of the visuals and make some changes. I'm going to zoom in, plus. And here we have Jack setting up the entire piece, and we have the shot of our bartender putting out the beer flight. And then this next shot, I just have Casey drinking. And I know that I have a shot of all three guys cheersing their glasses. And I'd really rather have that. So I'm going to just load this clip into the source monitor, which I can do by performing a match frame, which is the F command. And so you can see that this is the segment that's edited into the timeline, right? And then I can look at all of the frames right before that to see what else I have access to. Okay, and there's the cheers. That's what I want. But rather than re-edit this moment down into the timeline, instead, I'm just going to reach back in time and keep this parked exactly where it is. All right, so I'm changing my shot content, but not its position and not its duration. So I'm going to activate a slip edit. And if I come over to this menu here, both the slip and the slide tools are within this menu. So I can either choose the slip tool or use the keyboard shortcut, which is the Y key, okay? So right now you can see that my cursor is changed. And if I click on this clip and then I drag to the left and to the right, I'm able to view all of the frames that I have available within that shot. The frame on the left is the very first frame of the shot, and the frame on the right is the very last frame of the shot. All right, so let's find the moment right before the cheers. So it's about to happen right there, okay? And I'll back up just a little bit so we get their arms coming into the frame, and I'll let go. And again, we didn't change the position or the duration of the shot. We left it parked where it was. We just reached to an earlier point in time. And so let's take a look.
The craftsmanship, we have Casey and his team.
All right. Oh, so I think we got it. We've captured the moment that I like, and then we end on him drinking the beer, which is exactly what I want. I've got another moment right here where Casey's taking the beer out of the brew kettle, and this is actually the shot where he brings it up and looks at it, all right? But right now, I don't have that edited into the timeline. So that's very easy to change with a slip edit. I just want to make sure that I have slip enabled, which I do. Again, that's keyboard shortcut Y. And I'll click and I'll drag, and you can see now that he brings it up to his eyes, all right? And so I think that with the frame on the right being the last frame, that should be correct. I will release, and let's take a look.
Care meticulously about the beer. He's here anytime the beer needs him.
So I always tell people that if you want to become a
All right, so as you can see, slip is really useful. If you're ever curious about whether you should use slip or not, remember you can always just select the shot and then do a match frame by pressing F, and then you can take a look at all of the frames that you have available within the shot, which of course you can use during the slipping process. Now I'm going to move down to this marker here, and I want to talk about slide. Now I'm still in slip mode, so I'm just going to press the V key to go back to selection mode. And I want to take a look at these shots.
Special individual to be in a brewery where it's almost 100 degrees and you got steam in your face, it's wet. It's really not a glamorous job.
All right, so here are all of the shots of Casey working in the brewery, very hot and steamy and sweaty. But before, when we edited this, we made sure that this shot here was over the part where he's talking about it being very sweaty, hot work. So let's find that moment.
And you got steam in your face, it's wet. It's really not a glamorous.
Okay, so where he's talking about steam in his face is about right here, and so this shot comes in a little bit early. So the way we know how to fix this right now is we could bring this down and then bring this down and then see if it matches up and then do a trim and move it all that way. But I want to show you how a slide trim is actually a lot more efficient. I'm going to undo all that to get us back to where we were. And to activate a slide trim, you come over to this menu, and here's your slide tool, keyboard shortcut U. All right, so if you look on the keyboard, both the Y and the U are right next to one another, so slip and slide are geographically close on your keyboard. So you select U, and then now I'm going to basically move this shot over to the right to match what he's saying here, okay? And when I do this, just the adjacent clips are going to be affected. So I'm going to move this over, and you can see that the shot on the left is getting longer, the shot on the right is getting shorter. And now I think we're basically where we should be. We do have another problem right here, though, which we can fix in just a moment. But let's see if we're in the right spot.
It's almost 100 degrees and you got steam in your face, it's wet. It's really not a glamorous job.
Okay, so I have this shot where I want it, but now because of the nature of sliding, I've made this shot too short. So no problem, I'm going to undo that, Command Z, and instead I'll just slide 2 shots. So I'll click on this shot and then shift click here, and I still have my slide tool enabled, and I can slide them both over, okay? And you can see that I have my 2-up display, actually it's a 4-up display, where my top 2 smaller frames show me the first and last frames of the shot or shots that I'm sliding, and the bottom 2 larger frames show me the frames of where I'm actually depositing this clip. So that'll actually help me. I see that he's opening up the door there, and I'll let him open up the door, and then I'll let him get out of the way, and then I'll drop these clips. All right, so we have him opening up the door, and then here is the steam in the face, and then back to these other shots. Let's see if it times out.
And you got steam in your face, it's wet. It's really not a glamorous job of what people think. It's dirty, it's sticky, it's hot.
All right, I think that worked out really well. And by sliding both of these shots together, we were able to keep the lengths what we wanted, and then the adjacent clips were able to accommodate that move. All right, so as you can see, both slipping and sliding shots are really nice ways to efficiently change a shot's content or position within the larger construct of the sequence.